G'day viewers, what we see in front of us is a CrossCountry 220 class in its natural state, out of service. We're going to drive this for a short run. Let's get in and learn how to set it up. Now this is a early access version of the Voyager, and I'm kind of hoping that a couple of things get a little bit better. So first up, I'm going to turn on AWS and TPWS. Now I'm not going to turn on DSD or Vigilance at the moment because they seem to have an issue where you end up with a stuck train. So I'm not going to pop those on right now, but that's where they are when this gets rectified. All right, the next thing we need to do is get our master key in, of course, and then get our reverser into neutral will be fine. Let's acknowledge the AWS because we turned it on. The next thing I want to do is headlights, which is the switch up here. So we'll set those to day because it's daytime. There is a clipboard light if you want to turn it on, if you feel like it. And there's a power point where you can plug in your kettle. Lovely. Right, what else do we have to do with this thing? Windscreen wipers, should you need them, are here. Easy enough to do. Contact signaler is on the phone over here. Instrument lighting is either bright or dim, whichever you prefer. So bright for daytime, dim for nighttime. Horn in its usual spot. AWS reset here. And you've got your door controls up here. Or you can just use the Y and U key or the left and right of your D-pad. So we're going to take this unit into Plymouth now. And it still says safety systems isolated because I didn't turn on Vigilance and DSD. All right, it has a single power brake controller, which is brakes at the top of the range at this end and power at this end. So let's get back into forwards. Bit of horny action. And let's go. We do have a red signal right in front of us, so just while we're getting this to start moving, I will contact the signaler. Denied. Wait for signal to change. Well, we shall do just that then. But we'll just crawl up on it. The reason I moved before I bothered doing that is the game needs to know which direction you're trying to go. You do have, I think, can activate, yep, the blind. You can pull the blind down and put it up and other exciting things like that. Alright, it's kind of interesting that it's activated the road next to us. So let's just have a quick look at our path coming out. Oh, there's a train coming. That's probably what we're waiting for, I imagine. That's fine. Whoosh. And of course it's a GWR. I don't know if it's stopping in Plymouth or not, or if it's just rolling straight through, but we want to go into the same platform that it just did. So this may be a moment or two. It's a pretty easy train to drive. There's not really much that you do. You just go into forwards. If AWS or TPWS stops you, you will see this brake demand light light up. You must wait a minute. So put your controller into about brake 1 and then just wait a minute for it to let you go. You don't have to press any buttons or anything. No, we have a signal. Lovely. Off we go. It is a little bit on the undergrunty side, and it accelerates slowly and it brakes slowly, so expect. In this early release version, she doesn't seem to make a lot of smoke, if any, which is interesting because in the version I played at Dovetail, it actually did make quite a lot of smoke, and I'm going too fast. I'm being very, very naughty. So let's just slow it down to the 10 mile an hour for this crossing so we don't derail it, because that would be a little bit of a poor experience. I think we're going to be okay, even though we're going too fast. Yes, we appear to have survived that. Please don't copy my speed. That is not the appropriate behavior. Why did I put it back in full power? Because I'm clever. Alright, we should get an AWS for this signal. I'm actually going to ignore it because I want to show you how to reset from it. So hands off, and it will stop the train. There it goes. Very good. Now we can put our power and brake controller, just put it up, that'll do, 50% is fine, and acknowledge the AWS. And you can see the brake demand light is lit. So in about a minute or so, we'll be able to move. I'll just bring my brakes down a bit because when it goes out, minimum brake will be fine. When it goes out, we'll see the brake cylinder needle, this one here, will drop. So we do have to wait a minute for that. It's punishment for ignoring the AWS. In the meantime, the signal that tripped us has gone green. It's just going, gotcha. So we should see that fairly soon. I didn't actually look at the time of when we stopped, but we should be okay. In the meantime, you might have noticed I didn't go up the back and set tail lights. That happens for you. So when you set the headlights up here, you automatically get tail lights at the other end. So you don't need to do anything with that. There we go. The brake cylinder has dropped, so the light's gone out. It's a little bit hard to tell whether it's on or off, to be honest. And it's reduced, so we should, hopefully, be able to release the brakes and go. There we go. Let's get a bit more power on because we're rolling backwards. There we go. Lovely. So we make our way in towards Plymouth Station. Now, if you want to avoid AWS or TPWS stopping the train, you just have to acknowledge it with the Q key, circle or B, depending on your controller flavor. And you see the sunflower has gone out because it's just read this green signal here. I'm just going to come off the juice now. There's no point accelerating. We've got slow speed zones coming up anyway. So 55 for us as a passenger vehicle. AWS acknowledged that, so we're acknowledging that speed drop to 25. So let's start taking care of that. Got a little while till we actually get to that speed drop, so I'm not in a massive hurry to reduce my speed. Just about there. Now what you should develop over time is route knowledge of where the speed zones, if you like, are, or you can use the track monitor. You should have reached, when you're reducing speed, you should have reached the speed that you need before you get there. Because usually those speeds are protecting things like points, curves, bridges, and the like. When you are accelerating, you accelerate and do that speed after the back of your train passes the sign. Because the speed zone does not change for you until the back of your train has passed the sign. Acknowledge the yellow. Use Q, circle, or B, depending on your flavor. We're going into platform 8 by the looks of it, so we'll have this 15 to deal with. Let's just slow for that before we get there. There we go, nice. Now we are on a little bit of a slope, so it will keep accelerating us because gravity is sucking as usual. So we'll just keep an eye on that we don't creep up over the 15 while the back of our train goes through those points. And it now has, so we're all good. We can just roll into the platform at 25 now. We've got the dwarf, the diagonal white lights here, allowing us to go in. Oop, should have stopped a bit earlier than that. Let's put lots of brakes on. Yeah, it's a little bit further than I was supposed to go. I wasn't really keeping much of an eye on that. There we go. That's it. And a lowly silver. Right, because of that speeding at the start, or it was a bit naughty. Alrighty, that's it for the XC Class 220. If you've got any questions, chuck them down below. Just a reminder, don't turn on DSD or vigilance at release unless the problem has been addressed. We're only a couple of days from release when I'm recording this, so I'd be just a touch surprised if they touched it for now. But yeah, we'll see. I would imagine it would come pretty quickly because it's a bit of a vital safety function and you want the points. So used safety systems, for example, I got 0 for that because I only had AWS TPWS turned on. I did not have DSD and vigilance turned on because I can't. Alrighty, any questions, chuck them down below, see what I can do to help you out, and like and subscribe, and we shall see you next time. Bye now.
We played a game.